Welcome to the Literally First Class podcast, where I will teach you how to overcome anxiety and achieve somatic success. I'm your host, Keri Ford. I'm a somatic success and holistic life coach here to bring humor, insight, and wisdom to the modern day woman that wants to feel alive in her daily life. You ready? Come on, I saved you a seat in first class. Somehow these episodes keep getting a little bit longer. These were supposed to be 7 to 15-minute episodes. And somehow, here we are. And that's okay. I'm also reminded of the practice of patience as I hear the grass grassing and the neighbors renovating and the blowers blowing and the dogs barking and the people peopling outside of our home office, which is in a neighborhood, right? So there's stuff going on. It never ceases to amaze me. Like the neighbor's kid comes over and he rings the doorbell 18 times, looking for our kids. It's just so funny. Anyway, I'm going to share with you a few updates. I wanted to share the recap of the Champagne Club, which I just hosted here in Atlanta. It was a luxury dinner event. Holy moly, I think one of my favorite things is I know it's when I have an idea, I have a vision in mind, and the exact vision comes to fruition in the way that I saw it playing out. And I've done that a few times, very specifically. One was on the island that I rented and co-led a retreat with somebody back in 2021, rented an island on the BVIs in the British Virgin Islands. And that was, literally the vision in my head. And we spent hours going through the creative direction and the right way to capture it. And my creative process is very much we start wide. I collect inspiration, ideas, visuals that move me, that inspire me. And I look in places where I don't think most people are looking, at least in the coaching and personal development space. I look at fashion. I look at art. I look at advertising from ad agencies. My background is previously as an art director. I have an art degree. I have a BFA, Bachelor in Fine Arts. And so my brain is wired to think in visuals, but also one of my highest strengths on the Strengths Finder is strategy. So I love bringing concepts to life. I love the details. I love intentionality and thoughtfulness and cleverness and unexpected surprises. And so that's exactly what I brought to the Champagne Club. And so we went and we sent a recap out through the newsletter. If you're on my email list, if you're not, go ahead and just pause right here, go subscribe to that because there's so many updates and announcements and bonuses and value inside just that alone, especially the newsletter. And you're always first to know. So that was kind of, you heard me talk about it last week on the podcast. One of the most heartbreaking things was when I continued to get messages, and I still got messages yesterday even asking for a ticket. And I'm like, that event happened a week ago. So I feel like there's a demand to have another Champagne Club dinner event. I think we're going to try and do another one this year. So if that's something you want to do, get on the email list because we're going to sell out again. And when tickets come down and the links come down, they come down. We had people ask, is there any way you can get us in? And it's nope, we can't. We have things that we get to call ourselves into a higher standard. For me, how I want to run events is it's very custom and I can't customize stuff that's last minute. So this first Champagne Club dinner event, actually, it really went off without a hitch, except for there was only one thing, and that was the rain. Atlanta is not California. It does rain here. And that was the only thing because it affected some of the spaces that we were going to sprawl and expand into. We had plans to be in this really cool lounge at this restaurant, which has one of those live green walls. It's really pretty. We were going to put the step and repeat in front of that. And then we had to last minute shift all of our plans. So the step and repeat went upstairs into the private suite. And then we were velvet roped off into this area in the main restaurant for cocktail hour. So it worked. It wasn't exactly how I envisioned it. And I can't help the rain, right? But we had nearly 30 women travel across the country to just attend a dinner, which was amazing because they were sharing their stories about how they were telling other people in their life. People are like, what are you traveling for? Where are you going? Or you bought a ticket to what? And they're like, just for a dinner? And they're like, yeah, just for a dinner. Like, I want to be in rooms like this. I want to be connected to women doing amazing things. And the thing is like they got the sense that this wasn't just any dinner. That was never the intention. It's connections, it's relationships, it's ideas, it's partnership, it's collaboration, it's sisterhood, it's all of those things and more. And you know what? It's also a damn celebration of women. It's a celebration of a room full of women that previous to 1974 didn't even have access to a credit card, didn't even have access to, and I don't know the year on this, but like I'm the first generation of women in my family to have a college degree. So that's huge. This is a room celebrating the fact that we get to be investors. We get to be founders now. We know money. We know finances. And some of the women in that room really know finances. One woman owns 9 companies. Another was a CEO of a $50 million healthcare enterprise. I mean, we had cool women, and I'll share more about that in a second. But, a client of mine planted this seed about 8 weeks ago and said, you seem to know a lot of powerful women. You should host a dinner. And I was like, okay. So I thought about it and I did. And so in less than 8 weeks, we sold out. Well, in less than 72 hours, we sold out half of the room. But in less than 8 weeks, we created this event, this amazing experience that hadn't existed before. And, I think that there's a strong desire for other women just like me, just like you, that are craving luxurious, in-person, connected, and authentic events too. I'll read to you some of the blurb from the newsletter, actually. Glittery golds, silvery sequins, and dazzling rhinestones flooded into the cocktail hour, where the women were greeted with a flute of crisp champagne. I floated around the room, greeting familiar faces and excitedly welcoming new ones. Poised and powerful, we had holistic doctors, owners of 9 companies, founders, CEOs of $50 million companies, investors, owners of Hawaiian mansions, creative directors, artists that sell 5-figure paintings, Reiki masters, reality TV stars, professional speakers, Christian authors, luxury real estate agents, and the list goes on. That's just off the top of my head when I wrote that in the newsletter. So as we transitioned upstairs to our private suite for dinner, the women were able to order a fun cocktail from the custom drink menu, where I had creatively named the selections Legacy Libation, the Executive Martini, and the Founder's Fizz. So we had custom menus printed and put out, and I really love, again, the details. So made sure to pay close attention to every experience that unfolded for them throughout the night. And women had a blast as we transitioned upstairs, like I said, getting their picture in front of the newly moved Step and Repeat due to the rain, which was now in our private suite. And it was just really fun to watch them grab selfies. And I had my good friend and brand photographer, Chelsea Patricia, grabbing photos, who captured the whole evening. And I haven't even seen those photos yet in that footage, so I'm really excited to see all of that. And then I watched all the women float around the room and find their assigned seat. And so not everyone would be a fan of an assigned seat, but here's why we did it. A few reasons, actually. And if you're the host of other events, I encourage you to do an assigned seating, and here's why. Naturally, we are going to gravitate toward who we're comfortable with. And unless we're actually consciously making a decision to sit in the opposing area of somebody that we know, we are likely going to just sit where it's easy, sit where we are already in conversation with somebody. And then we stay in our bubble. We stay knowing the people we know, but not really getting to connect with the ones that we don't. And a lot of women decided to buy this ticket and do this event together and come make it a weekend with a small group of people, which was encouraged. And I loved that. And also, we intentionally had everybody separated in different areas spread throughout the room so that they could have the invitation to meet new people, so that they could come away with new connections, new relationships, and new collaborations. And so it was very specific in terms of who we sat near each other. And then I also knew, I would say I knew 2/3 of the room ahead of time, or knew of, and the other third of the room I was meeting for the first time. And so knowing some of the conversations I've had, or some of the struggles or challenges that they've shared with me, or maybe it's clients that I've worked with, we also chose to sit certain people next to each other that were likely going to have some common ground, really hit it off. And that's exactly what happened. So it was magical to watch these new relationships unfold and people find new forever friends. I mean, that's always my goal with these experiences and at retreats. We hear time and again, my gosh, these women that I've spent like only a matter of days with know more about me than my family. They know more. I've never shared these things with anybody. And I'm coming away with, what once were strangers, but now are sisters. And I love creating experiences like that for other women that are craving that kind of connection too. So they walked in, they found their custom crystal placard. It was a beautiful sliced crystal, and it had their name handwritten on it in calligraphy. And they sat down, and there was a Champagne Club dinner menu we had designed and printed, along with a black bag full of products that we had with our brand sponsor, Senegenics, which you can find more information about them in the show notes below. Or you can also book a call with them. They so kindly offer us 20% off to anybody that is listening, that's a subscriber here. And they specialize in healthcare for executives, longevity, and really high-level concierge medicine programs and plans. And as you know, they've been instrumental in my healing post-explant surgery, but also just as I get ready to turn 40 in just a couple months. So this bag was filled with a product called Enliven that is for focus and clarity. We also had, QR codes in there. They had a Senegenics water bottle. And then we had these beautiful, cute little custom candles that we made for the Champagne Club members only. And it said, "Let's toast." And it was a custom vanilla aromatherapy candle. So those were really fun and special. And then at each place setting, there was a square envelope, and on the square envelope, it was sealed with gold wax, and it said, "Wait to open me." And so as I stood up in front of everybody in the room, the next thing I invited them to do was to pick up that envelope that said, "Wait to open me," and slide out their invitation. And so we had something really special that we were inviting everybody into. If they wanted to be part of more rooms like this, then I wanted to share what was next, because what was next was, as amazing as a Champagne Club is, this is like 5 Champagne Clubs all in one, because it's actually our next in-person luxury retreat. We're going international again, and I've rented another estate on an island. So I'll tell you more about that in a second, but I want to share with you the experience and the invitation that I had, and then also the questions that I asked each person to share when I challenged them and invited them into different kinds of conversations. So as soon as everybody sat down, they see all these things, and I'll circle back to the envelope. I had them lean into a unique kind of conversation, right? Because this is the room that we're not going to dim our success. We're not going to dumb down our accomplishments. This is a room to brag, like fuck humble. This is the room to be too much. In fact, it's expected, because we've been in the other rooms. We've been in the rooms where we're too much, we're too intense, we're too loud, we're too successful, we're too rich, we're too pretty, we're too whatever. And we're tired of that. And so 2 questions, 2 prompts. The first prompt was to ask the women at your table, "How does your heart feel?" This is a question I ask my kids when they get home from school. When asked, the other woman's response was to be real, authentic, and vulnerable. So I encourage them that as somebody asks you this question, be honest. It's like when someone asks you, "How are you?" and you quickly go, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" No. How are you really? How are you really doing? "Oh, yeah, life's hard right now. I'm struggling. Like, XYZ, I'm figuring this out. What's honest? Or maybe it's like, I'm fucking great and I feel like I'm searching to find something that's challenging right now, but I actually feel awesome. And that's new for me. And that's amazing. So that was the first prompt. How does your heart feel? The second was to share a big idea that you either hadn't talked about yet or had yet to manifest this year. And I wanted the idea to feel both doable, like within reach, but also just beyond, like stretchy. And that was really fun. So I'm also going to invite you, whoever you're listening here, right? All the listeners, to take these conversations home, take them around the dinner table, ask a friend this, bring them to your circle, your group, and ask them the same thing. So what is this big idea? And there were some really interesting ideas, really brilliant ideas. And it was fun. Like, these women are so smart. They are so brilliant. They're creative, they're innovative, they're pioneers in their respective industries. As you heard me say, like, they're across all different industries. So it was incredible, honestly. But that was one of my favorite parts. So back to the envelope. So this says, wait to open me. And inside the envelope, they pull out a black flat card. And on the black flat card is a black balloon. It's not blown up. It's just, deflated, and it's taped onto the top, and it says, inflate me. On the bottom of the card, there's a little black push pin woven through the card, and then it says, then pop me. So their job was to take the balloon off. They're like, do we do this right now? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So Chelsea gets her camera ready because we're about to hear a lot of popping, and they blow up the balloon, and they pop the balloon, and inside the balloon was something else. And it was a QR code. So they says, scan me. They scan the QR code. And I sent them each an invitation into what's next. And I want to extend that invitation to you. So we already have, we had out of the 4 spots for pre-enrollment, we only have 2 left now. But this is our next luxury international retreat, and I'm so excited because we're headed to the island of Grenada. If you don't know where Grenada is, it's south of the BVI's, south of the British Virgin Islands, but very accessible through the US, and actually it's on East Coast time. So it's its own island, and we rented out an exclusive estate. Every woman gets their own private bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. There are 3 pools. There is a private beach with boat access. There's multiple places to eat throughout the space, a private chef, our own full-time staff, and get this, there's even a pillow menu. Do you know what a pillow menu is? Well, I didn't either until I read this. A pillow menu is where you can literally select the pillow you would like to sleep on for that evening. Firm, soft, down pillow, medium firm. So we're doing it up. And so we have 13, total rooms, I believe, but we only have 2 pre-enrollment spots left, which looks like it's an $8,500 investment. You will have a savings of $1,500 if you book that now, and you'll have to apply. This is an application-only event and experience. There is no financial pre-qualification, but we will require that you be at a certain level in your business. We will require that you've done a certain amount of personal development before we accept you into the retreat space. So what that's going to look like is that you will submit an application, and then my director of operations, Robin, will reach out if it's a good fit, and we'll schedule an interview with you. So it'll be really great. And then after those spots are gone, and there's a bonus. You also get a one-on-one somatic mapping session with me that is 1 hour long, completely custom to you as an incentive when you sign up for the pre-enrollment. Now, if you miss out on the pre-enrollment spots for the September event, because the dates, by the way, are September 18th through the 22nd. It's 5 days, 4 nights in Grenada, on the island of Grenada. It'll be $10K per spot. If you pay in full, you will still get the bonus of that one-on-one somatic mapping session. And if not, we can figure out what that payment plan is going to look like. But no matter what, there's always going to be a 5K deposit due, simply because how retreats work in terms of commitment is just an entirely different thing, both on your part and on my part. So we are so excited. We're going to put that link below for you to check out more of the logistics, the details. You might want to get a sense of the space, what it looks like. Maybe you want to even take a look at what a previous retreat with me has felt like and been experienced as. But these have literally changed women's lives. There is a reason that people ask if we do drugs on these retreats, and the answer is no. But that is how changed people come home. That is how elevated they are. That is how much they radiate. That is how much they shift as a result of taking themselves out of their normal environment, just like the Champagne Club, and putting themselves into new experiences with new people so that they can elevate and move into whatever is next for them. So this is a healing leadership retreat. The goal is going to be both to take time off to rejuvenate and recharge, but also to do some of the healing work for whatever internal barriers are showing up for you. So it's going to be an amazing, beautiful, incredible event. And I encourage you that if you've seen a retreat before and that if you've wanted to be part of that, to go ahead and apply right now, because those are going to sell out fast. And I often hear I'll be at your next retreat. Keep me in mind for the next retreat. Well, here it is. This is the retreat we're doing for this year. It's the only retreat we're doing for this year. I really love to, again, build these out with intentionality and detail. And that requires a lot of time along with everything else I have going on. And the travel that it requires, of course, to be away from my family. So I can't wait to see you there. We also have the email link below if you want to hear about the potential next Champagne Club. I don't have dates. I don't even have any ball in motion around when or if that would be. But get on the email list, and that's how you can best hear about things. And I'm so excited to see your applications come through. Hope you have an awesome day. Keep it first class.
I hope you enjoyed your flight, and I'll see you on board again soon.
Seriously, though, thanks for listening. If you're ready to take this work deeper and upgrade your mind, I want to invite you to join us inside my Millionaire Mindset program. This is where you'll start using my guided meditations to help you overcome anxiety and experience even more abundance. When you join, you'll have access to my entire audio library. Head over to elevatewithkeri.com and we'll see you inside.